At halftime, Carrick was definitely in, right? Let's have him as a full-time manager. After halftime, 10 minutes, no, Carrick out. Carrick should be nowhere near the United job. So that was United fans. And finally, United won the game 3-2 against Liverpool. The first time they'd done it for ages. They did a double over Liverpool this year. So good start for United, and Liverpool come back, and then United winner, and United into the Champions League for next season. Let's talk about this game and my favorite, Arsenal's game last night, 3-0 against Fulham. What a game. What a first half by Arsenal. That's how we should be playing more. Hey guys, welcome back to Two Halves, Two Innings Football. This full house tonight. Amit and Ajay, you United won it. You guys are back. What's happening?
I never left. It's good to see Amit back. Amit's shining.
I haven't left
He's
either.
smiling. No, honestly. Guys, that was the most tense 90 minutes of my life, honestly, man. I had to strap a blood pressure machine onto me. It was spiking in the 200s at one point. But honestly, what a game of two halves. Like our podcast show, Two Halves, Two Innings, more related to cricket. But honestly, that was a game of two halves. It looked like Liverpool and Man United swapped shirts after half-time, because where were United in that second half? I mean, you were watching the same game as me. I mean, I was screaming at Carrick. I mean, he made the sub for Ahmad. He left. He gave the ball away to Szoboszlai. What a run by Szoboszlai to score a goal.
We will talk about Ajay. I'm going to stop you here. We're gonna.
I'm sorry, I
just
can't
go
be
on
coherent.
and then
I'm just on emotions.
You finish the whole thing. Let's wait. There's no emotions, right? It's just a tofu. You guys are comfortable at the moment, and this game still made you feel that way, right?
No,
but what a start for Amit. What a start from United. 2-0. I mean, they were all over Liverpool at the start.
Yeah, I think brilliant start from Carrick. From United. Sorry, Liverpool in the first half. They didn't seem to have any presence in the midfield. McAllister, who's normally the kind of the midfield maestro for them. He was losing the ball, and United were just attacking with pace. And it was just a really good performance in the first half. And there's one point where I was thinking, come on, we've got to avenge that 7-0 thrashing that we had under Ten Hag, but it wasn't quite meant to be. But I mean, I think Ajay kind of said on one of our group chats that Liverpool aren't that poor and United aren't that good. So I think that kind of sums it up really. But it was a great first half. But as I just said, I think they changed shirts at halftime. They just lost their shape. I mean, I'm not sure the reason behind the substitution. I mean, Ahmad has not been great, for the past few months. I think since Carrick's come in, he's probably been the only player who I don't think has moved on since
from Amrin.
The previous, from Amrin. Well, everyone else seems to have moved on. He seems to have gone backwards. Obviously he had that break. Well, not break, but he was away for African Nations Cup. But since then, he's just not been the same Ahmad. He was firing on all cylinders before then, but he was poor again. He just seems so lackluster compared to everyone else. Everyone else seems to be fighting for the balls, fighting for the challenges, etc. But he's just not. And that carelessness that Ajay alluded to very briefly before you cut him off was highlighted in what became Liverpool's first goal.
I had to cut him off, Amit. Otherwise, he will finish this podcast in 5 minutes to say everything. But I have to control him. Ajay, now, tell me, you said United weren't that good. What today showed, like Liverpool, without their front three, they're not good enough at the moment. Their squad is not good enough. It was more of Liverpool not being good than United were better today.
The problem with this United team, and probably, is it a fault of Michael Carrick, or is it just because of the team and the squad he's inherited, is that Man United can't sustain dominance over a game over a large period of time. They're just a team that love to play in moments. Like we saw it in the first 20 minutes of the game. Like Amit said, we were electric, we were fire. We had so many shots on target. Cunha's goal, great, fantastic. To get the United fans on the side and raise the atmosphere up. Then the second goal went in. Again, the VAR decision, I was honestly squeaky bum time there, because it did brush Sesko's fingers, and you kind of thought, oh no, is it going to go away? And, that could have been a difference between a 3-2 and a 2-2. United would have only gone in at halftime 1-0 up, and again, it would have been a bit shaky. But fine margins for the VAR call. Had it gone in, had it not have brushed Sesko's fingers, probably it would have gone in as well. But again, United looked really good in that period of time. But then they let Liverpool back in. It was a game in the midfield. Casemiro and Mainoo were really stretched, and a lot of Liverpool's play was coming through the middle, and they were trying to basically just have shots outside of the box. And we've seen that work because if you look at Brentford's game, Brentford scored from outside of the box where we were just pushed back too much. We were pegged back. And the commentator said there was too much gap between the midfield and the defense, and that was true again because our midfield loved to kind of. Casemiro was playing as like a front nine, like a forward at some points, and it left too much space for Mainoo. So for Carrick, tactically, what he should have done at half time, what I would have assumed or hoped, he would have probably just gone back to a 5 at the back with Mazraoui, an extra defender to cut off the wing play to make sure that the middle was also a bit more tight with Maguire in midfield. In the centre back position, and just kind of controlling that area in front of the goal. But Ahmad made no difference. That substitution was really bad. Either that or he could have put Mason Mount on and just controlled the midfield because we were losing it in midfield. And this is what I mean. If this was a better Liverpool team, they could have created more chances. Yeah. I mean, the 2 goals that Liverpool scored, it wasn't any greatness by themselves. I mean, obviously, yeah, Soboslai's run was great, but nobody put a challenge in. But the second goal, Lammens, giving the ball away. How many times have we seen that? It just stunk of banana again. And I'm like, this is a keeper that has played more than the opposition's keeper, who should be more comfortable in front of home. Just get rid of the ball. You're in a pressure situation. You're playing against one of your biggest rivals in England. All you have to do, you're winning 2-0, but at that time it was 2-1. Just hoof the ball up. You want to get rid of that ball and not invite pressure because United can't play out at the back compared to how Liverpool can. They can sustain, pressure on their back four better than we can. We haven't got those playmakers. So I think it was just, we lost our heads in the second half.
But Ajay, doesn't that depend on Carrick's instruction though? So if the goalie's being if the goal is being told, or if the team have been told that they need to play at the back rather than hoofing it up, then he's just following the instructions of his manager, isn't it? Or the
yeah, but he should also use a bit of common sense and seeing that there's 3 Liverpool players coming after Casemiro or whoever was receiving the ball, and Maguire's all the way onto the right. Like, just use him. And then just get Maguire to hoof it either that way. So it was clearly just a loss of the head moment from Lammens, and he's young in his career, so we'll let him off a little bit there. But this United team, if we want to strive for
he hasn't made many mistakes,
not many calamitous saves. But again, his judgment is this is kind of creeping in a little bit, is where it's like, why don't you just kick the ball out rather than just trying to play from the back in these situations, So, you can't be too robotic and listen to the manager all the time. You got to think like, we're 2-1 up. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want the headlines to be Lammens made an error that cost United 3 points. Just get rid of the bloody ball.
I feel the same way, Ajay. Every time Raya tries to do something, I say, why, man? Your in-game decision should be left, because they're on the players, right? They're not on the manager. In-game decisions, so the decisions the players take, obviously they can set up the structure and everything, how we're going to play, but the in-game decisions, depending on the context, guys, you have been chased down, just hoof the ball. I feel it sometimes. Raya gave some goals away as well. I was like, what the hell are you doing, Raya? Just bloody hoof the ball away.
Exactly. But I'm going to argue that then. So say if they did hoof the ball up and they lost possession in the middle of the park and they end up scoring a goal, then you would have said, why is he not following the manager's directive for playing out from the back?
No, but you can't playing from the back 100% in the game. You have to see the context. You have to see where the game is and who is. Say if there are no players, right, or opposition players, you can play the ball. But if there are players are chasing, like what happened with Donnarumma when Harvard scored, and in his Pep's team as well. So sometimes you have to do.
Yeah, but the point is that I think that one was definitely like a freak incident, wasn't it? You could. Donnarumma could make that same mistake again. The likelihood of Havertz scoring that goal will be very few and far between, just because the angle and everything. So I think you've both been a bit too harsh on your goalies. I think Arsenal.
No.
Rohit, you on Raya and you on Lammens.
No. I generally feel like if you're a keeper at that standard and playing for a big club and you're in a high pressure game, this is the biggest rivalry in English football. You do not want to make the headlines about yourself. Get that ball far away from your goal as possible. Let everyone else deal with it. If you concede a goal after you kick the ball into the opponent's second half, in the opponent's half, then that's on the other 10 outfield players, because they've not organised themselves and you've done all you can. As a goalkeeper, your directive is keep the ball as far away from yourself as you possibly can and just save the shots that come at you. Anything else in
Yeah, but
between, if you concede a goal, he conceded it through Dallow's. It went through Dallow's legs. He couldn't do anything about that. But he had every opportunity to do something about that second goal. And if he would have replayed that in his situation, in his mind, 10 out of 10 times, he would have said, I should have just kicked it. There's no need for me to make that pressure on myself. Receive the ball, either spray it out wide or just kick it as far away as possible. Honestly, there's no need for that. Stupid.
Ajay, that's your directive, though. I don't think what you're both failing to understand
No,
is what I'm trying to say is that
No, but the thing is, footballers are robotic enough to, as a goalkeeper, you can train. As a manager, you can't really train a goalkeeper too much, other than save the ball and put yourself in better starting positions. There's not much more you can say to a goalkeeper. You're attacking midfielder. You can do 10 directives to that midfielder. You can say, pass it here, control the ball here. I want you to act like this. I want you to shield the ball. I want you to play more deeper. I want you to play more forward. I want you to play more of an assister as opposed to a striker. What the hell can you say to a goalkeeper except for just save the bloody ball and just kick the ball out? That's it. There's nothing else that you need to say to a goalkeeper, in my mind. You're not a playmaker. You're not a Manuel Neuer. You're not a number 11 that you can actually play the ball out and be an extra defender. Your directive there is to stop goals going in. And I'm sick and tired of seeing goalkeepers make stupid-ass mistakes like that. We've even seen it from the brilliances of like Alisson and Donnarumma, like you just said. But goalkeepers just need to literally, just like how they used to be back in the days, just stop shotters, save the shots, and then clear up any messes as well at the back, but be dominant in the box.
That's their number one job, right? That is
exactly
their number
yeah.
one job.
Yeah,
But I'm saying that, but then again, the whole team needs to be aligned to that, right? So, but then again, it's like, it's like the context I'm talking about, right? You can't just play all the way, all the time, 100% in that.
I get that.
Yeah. But anyway, let's move on, guys. Otherwise, we'll keep talking on this. But I want to ask you, Amit, on this, right? So I saw the first half. I couldn't manage the first. I missed the 2 goals that Liverpool scored. So I saw the first half. I saw United team like giving the ball. I said, they're not actually doing anything with Liverpool. They say, okay, keep the ball. Once we get a chance, we'll counterattack. That was their strategy at the start of this. And that's how they scored 2 goals.
Well, I think,
are they becoming more like that even at home? They're not able to keep the possession. They're not able to control the game more. That's how they gave away 2 goals as well in the second half when they came back.
I disagree with you a little bit on that, Rohit. I think that they were pressuring Liverpool. I think they controlled the game better. I think the sloppy United were after the 2-0 up, even in the first half. I mean, after the 2-0 up, it felt to me like a pre-season game, as in there was no urgency from kind of both sides. It just felt like end of season kind of, or a pre-season game. There was just the feel of it, and obviously it all changed. The context changed after the second half, but you can't fault. It was a good start by United, and 2-0 up after 16 minutes. I think 2-0 up, so it changes the context, doesn't it? At the end of the day, but then all that hard work they did in the first 45 minutes, it got totally blown away. Within 10 minutes, and that's the nature of the game, isn't it? Or any sport, you've got to see it through for the whole 90 minutes, or 100 minutes nowadays. But officially 90 minutes.
Ajay, what's your thought on that?
From what I'm just kind of thinking about United's past previous performances, if we looked at the game against Brentford, it kind of had that similar kind of feel where United just never looked comfortable at the back. There were always going to be chances for the opposition, and we do let oppositions have the opportunity. I don't know what it is, but there's always a pattern with United, is that we just come out really slowly after the second half. As soon as that 45 minutes is done, we come out of the changing rooms. I don't know what they've been drinking or what they've been having in there, but they just look so lackluster. The 15 minutes after the second half has started, United are very poor. And you can kind of see with the goals kind of conceded if you probably looked at the stats throughout the season.
But even if you just
watch United, you just look at them and you're like, they haven't even come out of the dressing room yet. Why are they taking so long? And we're a very reactionary team. We've seen it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It was always the kind of thing, he's like, right, we're 1-0 down halftime. We'll get 2 goals in the second half. We are a very reactionary team where we have to kind of concede a few goals to wake up. And this is where we need to shift that mindset, that mentality of like Man City is. We're 2-0 up. We're going to go for 3. We're going to go for 4. And we're going to keep that high standards. We've got to keep that high standard exactly. This is how Liverpool have maintained it under Klopp and Arne Slot's first season. And the thing is with Arne Slot and Liverpool, how they've kind of come into this game. Me and Rohit obviously talked about previewing this game, and I said 2-2, and it was going to look like that for the longest time until superstar Mainoo, fantastic, scored. But again, Liverpool couldn't actually perform any firepower because of their injuries, but they still looked very dangerous. They still looked so much more dangerous. And this was, again, United just letting them go through them so easily. No physicality in midfielder, Casemiro being out of position. And again, the defense not being that confident in order to kind of step up and bridge that gap between midfield and defense. So there's a lot of learning curves for Carrick. And if Carrick does get the job, and there's a lot of United fans that say, yeah, he'll get the job. He should get the job. He's performed well. We've won 10 out of 13 or something like that. Then, he needs to. INEOS and the whole universe around Manchester United need to get behind him. Then give him all the tools he needs. There's no point appointing Carrick giving a shopping list of players and INEOS not giving him those players and giving other targets. So this is going to be the key thing this summer now. Is Amit, would you? Me personally, I think that second half performance, he shouldn't get the job because I thought that it stank. It was absolutely a crap decision how we set up in that second half. And I'm really on the fence with Carrick, and I probably wouldn't give him it because for United to succeed, to Champions League football, to get that Premier League win, I think we do need an elite manager. We need a Nagelsmann. We need a Luis Enrique. But what is your thought on Carrick? Should he get the position after watching this today?
I mean, I said after the Leeds game that for me it showed that he's not that elite level manager that we need. But I think so. I follow quite a lot of season ticket holders on social media, and the feeling I get is that the massive majority of them want Michael Carrick to stay. But again, you got to look at what he's done. He's done this with a team that he's inherited. He hasn't signed anyone. He's brought that love back. You talked about Kobe Mainoo. If Ruben Amorim was still here, Kobe Mainoo would have been out the door in January transfer window, and now
That's
he's just
very true.
committed himself. He's just committed himself, a massive long-term deal, and instead of losing someone for free, we've got a very big asset again. And not just that though, if you look at the tradition of United, where we have homegrown talent, which has presence within the first team, not for the sake of it, because they're talented, he fits that mold now. And again, I don't think today was his best game, but as you said, Ajay, a moment of magic with his finish, beautiful finish, and that
Beautiful.
sealed the win. It's so. I mean, I think he's going to keep it, but as you said, they've got to give him all the tools. But the problem with that, Ajay, is that there's quite a lot of complexities with that. One, United have a desire to move, as in have a new stadium. So just like Arsenal were in that similar situation, kind of when they moved from Highbury to Emirates, that's going to be difficult financially. Secondly, is we've got a World Cup coming up as well now, so they may not get all their first targets. That's just the nature of the beast. So for the positions that they have, and they normally have 3 targets. So yes, I think up front we're pretty solid, but I think we need another striker. It's what's interesting is where you think where else we need to strengthen. The one thing I want to quickly before I've wrote it down before I forget was that you talked about the tactics. It seemed that after United went up 3-2, that's when they went back to their shape of the first half when they defended in 2 banks, which they seem to have lost after the second half. And considering that we needed to shore up our midfield, I think it's telling that Ugarte wasn't brought on. I don't know if he was on the bench or not, but if he was, it's quite telling that they didn't bring him on. They brought on actually Xerxes for
Xerxes,
Cunha. Yeah, so I think that's, and then in the last minutes, Lenny Yoro. So I think that's quite telling. I think his days are numbered.
Yeah, but if you see, it was just like one game a week or every 10 days, right? And then we still were not performing as you guys would have wanted United to perform. What will happen next year? Because in the Champions League, there'll be so many games as well coming up with Champions League. Extra 2 games, and then plus the other League Cups and FA Cup as well, and the Premier League gonna be difficult. But before INEOS say yes, we want to invest, they have to decide, right, if Carrick is the right person to lead. Because
that's the main thing,
they can't just spend money and then say, okay, we don't want Carrick. So they have to first step for that decision is Carrick the right man?
Because they've done that. That's the mistakes they've done. They've spent £1 billion, haven't they? I mean, I think so. It appears that they bought well. So maybe the three front line that we've got, Sesko, Cunha, and Mbembo, wasn't just Amorim's decision. It was a collective decision, which kind of goes with the structure of the setup, obviously with Jason Wilcox, blah 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 blah. So that's why they've kind of flourished. So they're kind of, you got to give credit to Amorim for that, I suppose. Or again, we don't know who really had the final say. So it depends. If the sporting director's recruiting the players, then there needs to be clear identity. This is how United want to play. So regardless of who the manager is, in essence, that that identity of playing a certain way and that player profile fits in regardless of the manager. So I suppose it's the system needs to be clear rather than the person. Does that make sense?
The system. But the player, the person also has to be the forefront of that as well, because obviously we've seen it where if you have the sporting director doing the transfers, and then if the manager's not happy with it, I mean, this is classic with like Mourinho saying that he's a list of players I wanted, I didn't get them. The same with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He was very successful in the beginning. This is again because it's showing a lot of shades of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Because of the fact that Ole started off really well. Everyone was saying give him the sign the contract,
sign the thing,
because, sign the thing. Yeah, that's what Rio Ferdinand said after the PSG win.
Yeah,
and we can't let this kind of emotion of Carrick's one of our own, and again Ole was one of our own. We can't let this emotion kind of haze any signs of reasoning and intelligence in the fact that Man United is going to still be a struggling team next season. It's not going to be all fixed. So either we have to then kind of say, right, does Michael Carrick get a 3-year contract or a 5-year contract? But then the problem is if he doesn't perform well next season, is it going to be another Ole situation where we have to then get rid of him midway through the season? Again, this is going to probably be like where Arteta started off, where it's like, right, we've given Carrick the job. We need to now say, look, for 5 years, he's untouchable. Whatever the results are, we have to then invest in him. We have to stick with him. We can't just sack him then the next season if we lose 4 in a row or 5 in a row. Like we have to then stick with him.
Yeah.
And then
in terms of Ruben as well, right? They said they're gonna stick with him, but they didn't.
But then Ruben, the problem with Amorim, and probably because this is the own problem, and a lot of people have been, kind of saying this as well, is that he didn't help himself in the sense that he just went totally against the grain for United. It's United's always been a back four system, and then he comes in playing 3-4-3. He didn't show that kind of mutability that other managers have maybe shown in games or even in their own tactics. It's like, right, I like 3-4-3, but this isn't clearly working. This bus the players aren't going to ride on. I need to start changing up this formation. Let me go 4-4-2. Let me go 4-2-3-1. And he did that in the latter stages of his tenure at Man United. I think against Bournemouth when we had a 4-4 draw. He did go to a back four then, and we showed some positive signs. But then he quickly shifted back to a 3 against Wolves, I think it was, and then we drew. So this is the thing: is like managers need to be adaptable, and this is where Carrick can be quite good because obviously the fact is he's United bred and he's United through and throughout. So then he knows how the system works and he understands the fans, understands the games. So on that side, he's got that leverage that he is very well familiar with United. And will that help him? Again, the question is, and the good thing about maybe putting it, if Carrick gets announced tomorrow, fine, I'm happy with it, great. But then INEOS needs a clear strategy of these are the 4 or 5 players we need to get before the summer transfer window is even opened. These are the 5 players that we need to contact. We need to get with their agents. We need to preliminarily have a contract already in place and a verbal agreement to say, yes, you're joining Man United. Is it Baleba? Is it Tonali? Is it Wharton? Are we going to get Elliot Anderson? We need a left back. We need a striker. We probably need a right back as well.
You need a whole team.
We do. We are, honestly, because the thing is, Casemiro's going to be your 2 centre midfielders, so it's going to be probably Baleba. Because he's very keen on it, and he's probably said verbally that I want to join United. And then it's like Tchouaméni from Real Madrid, or the likes of Wharton, Elliot Anderson, Tonali. But the good thing about this summer window is that there's players there in the market that we can identify, and we can say yes, we need that. And there's Premier League proven players, which is for INEOS. They like that model. And we just need to get those deals done very quickly in the transfer window and then send them off to the World Cup and say, yep, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Whatever.
Well, they have to, don't they? They
can't wait. They can't wait.
United last summer, one of the things they did do right was they got their buys in quite quickly, didn't they? And I think
one took a bit longer.
I mean, yeah, the only thing I'm going to say, though, is that, if you were Kobe, this is a question for both of you. If you were Kobe Mainoo, knowing what happened with the previous manager, i.e. with Amorim, would you really want to commit yourself to, unless it's just financially driven, okay? Because obviously he's got a bumper pay rise. Would you want to commit yourself to a team not knowing who the manager, when there's this uncertainty of a manager?
I'm saying maybe he knows that Carrick. They told him Carrick's going to be the next manager. That's why he said, okay, then I'll sign the thing.
Yeah.
Yes, right. Saying the slang, I love it.
I love him, man. I love this. Rios was sign the thing. But this is what I'm feeling. He must be knowing, right?
It's a genuine question, though. Yeah. I mean, what do you do if he was in a situation?
Listen, if I'm a young 19-year-old, 20-year-old, like as long as I'm playing football at the highest level in the Premier League, I don't care who's going to be under, like, I'm going to be managed by, because at the end of the day, player power kind of is dictating kind of how the teams are working anyway. You just need to be in that position. You need to be told, yeah, you'll play. Even if something else happened where there's another manager that comes and they say they don't like you, he's going to get transferred over to a high team as well. He just needs to be playing the best football that he can. And Kobbie Mainoo has showed in the last 4 or 5 months what a star player he is. I mean, will he get the England call up? I would hope so, because in midfield we've got a lot of talent, but Kobbie just adds that extra, flair, that elegance, as well as drive. Like he can go through players, like how
And he's
he did
fresh.
against Brentford. He's fresh. He's young. Yeah, he reminds me of just like a young Wayne Rooney in the sense, like, when he started off at the World Cup at 16, but like, not maybe as aggressive as that, but he's just got that confidence where he can go past players, and he's not scared to take a shot, and he's not scared to put in a tackle. So he's got a lot to work on in his game, but there's promising signs for Kobbie Mainoo. And I think that's why he probably did sign the contract. You're right, Amit. There's probably internal talks happening at Man United where they've probably said,
Yeah,
yep,
there
Carrick
would
is the
be.
one. And
Yeah,
they probably already know this. It's just about maybe signing
announcing it.
dotting
Yes.
the I's, crossing the
Yeah.
T's, and then basically the right time for the announcement. They should do it now because he's won against Liverpool, biggest rivals, put Slot under pressure. We won the game, however scrappy it was, whatever the margin of the result is. But we've won it. Tomorrow morning, the Jason Wilcox should go into Carrick, shake his hand, give him the contract, 3 or 5 years, 3, 4, 5 years, whatever it is, and then that's it. Let United then let's start moving now as a fan base.
Well, they've got
Support the
Champions
manager.
League qualification now as well, so
Yeah,
that's
it. Yeah,
another.
it's
Yeah,
So
that's
something
another
to
plus sign.
add on to
Yeah.
the,
Yeah.
ride on the wave of kind of positivity, isn't there? Really?
Yes.
unless it was like a case where Man United have been talking to other managers and then said, yes, okay, as soon as we get Champions League qualification, right, we're ringing you up, and then that's it, sign the dotted line. But
But who's
I
available?
wouldn't see that. Yeah, that's what I mean. I wouldn't really see that as a case, but there would have been mentions of it and talks about it, and I guess that would probably be a very low chance of that happening. So I guess it will be the case of Michael Carrick being the next manager at Man United. Because if you look at it, Luis Enrique is going to sign with PSG probably again. Nagelsmann, again, if you look at Areola, you look at Oliver Glasner, you look at the likes of Marco Silva. Are they going to be... Yeah, are they going to... I mean, Thomas Tuchel was probably the only one that might have been a series contender, but he signed, obviously, his long-term future with the England squad. So it's going to be difficult to actually find a good replacement with the likes of the managers that we need to have at this, at this club, that understand the formation and the tactics and the passion.
Yeah, if you see the pattern, guys, Harry Maguire came in last game, right? After the game, he said, like, this manager has changed our mentality. This manager has changed a lot of things, We loved playing with him and for him, and then he changed a lot of things. So that the pattern suggests me that he's probably signed. They haven't announced it yet. They confirmed everything to players. That's why the players are signing and then saying about these things. So I do believe that.
The same thing, Rohit, at the end of today's game as well. That he's
did he?
The fight.
Okay.
He's something similar along those lines.
Similar, you can see the pattern, right? Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, you'd hope that they've got some commercials, the business sense and leadership sense that they make that. But I think, Ajay, you talked about Arsenal blueprint, but I know we mock Rohit quite a lot just to wind him up, but but seriously, we have praised the leadership that it takes balls though. It takes when there's titles, finances on the line, etc. It takes balls for kind of the leadership team, so the owners, to kind of stick with someone and see that project through.
But we can't copy paste that anyway, because it's different circumstances, different things. The culture, we can't copy paste whatever worked exactly somewhere else. But so let's move on.
I was praising Arsenal. I'm saying
I know. I'm just saying
it takes courage though.
Exactly,
it
does
to kind of see it through. You understand?
But you need all the right pegs falling in the right places as well, right? To it to work, and then there's a courage comes in, and then we can't copy paste everything because everyone is different, right? Carrick is different style, Arteta's different style, leaders are different, so it has to fall everything on place to even work in it. Anyway, but before we move into Arsenal, before we move into Arsenal, we would like to wish Sir Alex Ferguson good health, because we just the news came out that he's been admitted to hospital, so we wish him well and say a good recovery as well. So, okay, guys. So Alex,
quick one, Roy, before you go into Arsenal. What did you? I don't know if you saw that tackle from Fernandes on Szoboszlai. He got a yellow card. I mean, I thought that was a red card. I did.
No,
I did not see it.
It's a yellow card.
I want to be channeling my inner Wenger, right? I did not see it.
It was a yellow card. It was a yellow card. Never a red card.
All right,
Never a red
well
card.
then, that's the end of that. Then go on, Rohit. Go on
Never
to
a
I'm
red
gonna
card.
channel my inner Wenger, guys. Oh, I didn't see it. Sorry. Anyway, oh yeah. So I mean, what a game we had last night, right? That 6 points clear. I know City have 2 games left, but then again, the pressure is back on City. So I was so happy that it wasn't 1-0. I was hoping, Ajay, remember in our
You said
preview,
it on the.
I said 1-0, right?
1-0
I
to
said
the
1-0 because I said, how are we gonna score? But that first half showed that we can score goals. We just need to take something off and then score the goals. And second half, again, we'll talk about it, but second half was again when we took Rice off with Gyokeres off. That showed us that our squad is on paper, it looks good, but actually it's not as good as we thought at the start of the season. But a big win. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but let me just tell you this. Football is not a difficult game. It is a very simple game as long as you play to each other's strengths. Gyokeres has been crying all season for someone just to cross the ball in front of him. He can tap it in because you know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
He needs the ball fed to him. He'll make opportunities. The goals it was a Saka and Gyokeres show. It was a Baka show. That was it. It was a Gakko show. Yeah. Literally, that was nothing else to it.
That's a good name.
It was a Gakko.
I'm gonna take that Gakko show.
Honestly, it was. It was a Victor Gakko show.
Yeah.
Literally, there was nothing else to it. You've got a player who's come back from injury. Saka's been a bit poor this season, but you know what? You're playing against a team, Fulham, who had been previously very good this season, but I think have tapered off a little bit because they showed that against Liverpool, where they didn't play that well. So you played a perfect team for this game, I think, because Fulham, like I said, they're not the same team they were a couple of months ago. And honestly, you just played some good football. And you know what the key thing was, Rohit, that you guys didn't have today? You know who it was?
Oh.
Odegaard. You didn't have Odegaard. See, there's a key thing. You don't have that guy in your team. You play well. And it's happened. And it showed. You played well. Saka was in his good position. Trossard was playing quite well in the midfield, dominating midfield. Bro, Martin Lewis-Skelly, thank you for giving him to us. Please give him to us because we would love to have that player.
I think
Please
he was
give him
good.
to us. Arteta should be shot for not being able to see the brilliance in this kid. He was dominating midfield. I think he was ranked first in all the stats for that game in terms of like dribbles won or whatever tackles.
He was first,
He was so
Duels
good.
1-7, yeah.
Is he coming to United?
No, he's asking.
We've been in contact. But I'm saying that there were some rumors that maybe we could because he's a left back, isn't he? But he's like a left wing back.
No, he's not. He's actually not a left back.
He's actually a midfielder.
To be fair, he's a midfielder. That's why he was playing his natural position. But then again, he was just Fulham. Their main central midfielder was ill, and then they had some virus going on in their camp, so they weren't fully fit either. So again, on paper, it looks good. And is brilliant. So I love to see Lewis Kelly to play in the midfield. He will come good. He's still young, still learning his trade.
Yeah, he'll be playing good at Old Trafford next season.
Against you, right? Against you.
No, he'll be with us. Sorry, he'll be wearing the shirt.
But this is why I loved it, right? At least we scored. But second half, again, it was quite average half. Second half. First half, we were brilliant. Second half, we just fell off, I think. We could have scored another 2 goals. And, what 2 goals? Like, who's Calafiori? Yeah, Ricky. Oh, my God. He was offside in the first, when he scored his first goal. And I mean, a second goal, he hit the bar. So I'm thinking, oh, my
lucky,
gosh.
actually.
Yeah. So we should have scored more goal later, but second half was very poor. It wasn't as good as the first half. I mean, did you watch the game?
But Rohit, don't you think? I mean, for me, and I didn't watch the game. I watched the highlights, and I thought, just what I just said. Really, I thought Gyokeres showed what a good striker he is because he had a beautiful clinical finish, with the first one and the header. That was a beautiful header.
It was a good header.
But,
and the pass to Saka
as I just said,
and pass to Saka as well, brilliant. Yeah.
They both came, and he assisted Saka as well. So they both came from crosses, and maybe it's taken a while. Now, the one thing I feel the pendulums. I think it's quite an interesting title race, really.
Yeah, interesting.
10 days ago, we
very
felt
interesting.
that after you lost that and to Man City, and then Burnley obviously lost to Man City as well. I felt the pendulum was back in Man City's favour. Today, I think the pendulum's back in Arsenal's favour. One, you've got the points on the table. Nothing's guaranteed in life. Okay.
Yeah.
Two. You've got the goal difference as well, and again, you was neck and neck on goal difference as well, wasn't you? So now you've got a +4. So that for me puts pressure on City because even if they win both games, they can't just win both games 1-0 like they did against
Yeah.
Burnley. They
Yeah.
need to kind of score goals.
Score
So
goals,
that will
yes,
maybe leave
yes.
them exposed. So I
Exactly.
think for me, the pendulum swung back to Arsenal now, and again, he may
Let's
change
keep it
next
there,
week.
boys.
Hopefully for your sake, it doesn't. But but you got the points on the table. That's bit now. The last time the three of us were on, I kind of suggested that I feel that Arsenal need to change their tactics. So, did they? I mean, obviously, I didn't watch the whole game, and from what you're saying, they were very attack minded, especially in the first half. So, was that just the team they were playing, or because they were missing Odegaard, whether Ajay was clinging cheap or not, or
But
was
yeah,
that a shift in mindset from Arteta to that? Come on, man, we got to go for this.
yeah. I think now it's clear, right? It's not about winning now. It's about scoring goals as well. So now they have a little bit of clarity on what they need to do as well. It wasn't never always about winning. Now they need to score goals. But the shift I've seen was that the very less passing backwards. They were more passing forward in the first half, especially. It was a great team effort, and the goals were brilliant as well.
Yeah,
Brilliant goals.
Very good goals.
You were more direct.
Very good goals. Sorry?
Yeah, more direct. Yeah.
More
would say
direct.
you were more direct.
Yeah, more direct. We were quick. Calafiori was all over on the half as well. It was brilliant. It was brilliant to see that. And this is what I love to see. This was like two years old Arsenal when we had a proper team as well. When we came second, I think we only lost by two points, I think, in that season as well. But we were brilliant in that season by scoring goals. Same way. I think that showed the blueprint we need to go in. Because there's no other option. They literally
You just don't need to play
option.
Odegaard. Just drop Odegaard.
Drop Odegaard.
Just drop Odegaard. Yeah. And even to be fair, it was very brave to take off Zubamendi. They dropped Zubamendi as well, to be fair, on this team. So that was quite brave.
But I was still baffled by Norgard. I would have loved Norgard to come in replacing Rice, not Zubamendi. I was still baffled that why Norgard is not playing. Why? That was a perfect game, 3-0 up. And this is what happened, Ajay. We talked about earlier as well, right? We never had those kind of games where we were 3-0, 4-0 up, and we can replace Rice. Yeah.
There's something that Arteta must have seen on the training ground. Maybe he doesn't like puppies, or maybe he doesn't like I don't know, the Snapchats or the big TV screens in the training ground. Maybe Norgard's just like, what is this rubbish? What is he doing? What is this crap?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe yeah.
I went from Brentford to this. It was like, what is this, man? Why is there a puppy named Win? Yeah. But no, I don't get it. Norgard, I mean, he's a great player when he was captain last season for Brentford. It's not like he's not like an Emmy, So he's a good player. So I don't get it. But at the end of the day, right, 3-0, perfect result.
That's it.
I mean, to be fair, if you scored 5, it would have been better. But you know what? You killed the game off in the first half. You played a Fulham team who's not with it. But honestly, like Amit said, the pendulum might just be back in your favour, to be fair. Unless Man City go on a 7-0 thrashing of Everton, which I doubt.
Oh, no, Everton.
But I think Everton might do something, to be fair, because Monday Night Football's always a bit tricky. Go into Everton, go into the Hill Dickinson. Yeah, I mean, Everton played well against Liverpool, to be fair, in their Merseyside derby. It was just very unlucky, that last-minute goal that they conceded. But, I think they could hold up City quite well. And they're good going the other way as well, with Beto and Njai as well. So they've got some good players, Everton. So they're not a team that just gets rolled over quite as easily as before. So credit to the team and the manager. So... it'll be interesting the next few days. But yeah, I mean, United, I'm happy. Let's talk more about United, because I'm sick of talking about Arsenal every week.
I think this is such a long time. All three of us are happy with our teams, right?
Well, actually, we're not. Well, we might not be fully happy because Punjab are playing at the moment, and it doesn't look like they're going to win, do they? So
don't worry.
As with life, you never get everything, do you?
We take the sacrifices, we take the L's when we get them, but we take the wins when we can. But yeah,
I think for you it was a perfect match day 35, really, as in for Arsenal. You won. You won convincingly, as in you got the goals in the first half, so therefore you had the luxury of being able to rest some key players for a massive Champions League game against Atletico Madrid. It's 1-1, so that's finally balanced as well. You're at home, so you need that kind of. That crowd to be Emirates crowd to be kind of noisy, be the
like it was really yesterday.
Yes. Yeah, they were singing actually. It was quite interesting to hear Arsenal fans singing in their own
stadium. Did you see a little boy there's a meme now. The little boy is like when Gyokeres scored, he was proper pumped up. Have you seen it?
Was it?
That meme.
I've not seen it.
I'll
There,
send
but
you guys. I'll send you guys. Brilliant. The little guy, like, it must be like 4 years old, right? He's proper. Some people are saying, Arsenal fans are saying it's funny, right? How this whole Twitter thing works, right? They say, if my son doesn't do that, I'm gonna test his DNA.
But on a quick one, boys, obviously, because we talked about obviously our respected teams and Man City a little bit, but for Liverpool as well, and obviously it was quite interesting, the group chats. It could have gone a little bit more fiery, but I held back a little bit. But where does this put Arne Slot?
Yeah, what happened to you, Jay? You were actually quite not. You actually felt sorry for Slot.
I mean, I thought with Liverpool, I mean, they're very unlucky with the injuries, but as a side thing, where does that put Arne Slot now? Do you think in the Liverpool hierarchy? Do you think? Because I know, I mean, you said something about there might have been some mutual, agreement maybe that he might go at the end of the season, but it's not confirmed. But do you think that maybe he, after all of these transfers and all of these kind of like difficulties with the squad, do you think he deserves another year maybe just to kind of try it out and see where he can go? Because I would love to see Slot next year.
I would as well. But I think our reasons are very different to our reasons are very different to Liverpool's reasons. Now, again, we know the three of us know many Liverpool fans, and I don't know one Liverpool fan who is pro Slot, and I think that's quite telling. And these aren't just armchair fans; these are fans that know the game, but also go to the game, go to Anfield as well. So they're getting a feeling of what the crowd is like. Obviously we haven't heard any booing or anything like that that I know of.
Yeah, but the Liverpool fans were singing fully loud in the away end at Old Trafford today. They were singing so much. But there's the thing with Arne Slot is, because the thing is, like, look, okay, if I'm Arne Slot, I've got Mohamed Salah, highest earning player, he's going to leave. I've got Andy Robertson, he's been a veteran at the club, done his due diligence, he's left. Van Dijk, I might only get 1 more year out of him. Kanate signed a new deal. Alisson, is he going to, or is he maybe on
allegedly?
He may be going.
He's allowed
Allegedly.
to leave maybe. You've got 2 strikers in Isak and Etikite. You've got Florian Wirtz. You've got the kind of blueprints to kind of make this team really good. So maybe the fact that maybe some big egos are leaving, I think maybe in Mohamed Salah. Do you think he might be the manager to kind of oversee a transition period? Because my only concern is for Liverpool. I don't know why I'm thinking about it, but is if you brought in an Areola or an Oliver Glasner, you're going to have a manager who's going to have to take probably 2-3 seasons to get Liverpool back into title contention, aren't you? Because these managers might not do a good job and obviously have to deal with, the egos and the attitudes of high, valued players like Isak and Wirtz or Etikite. And that's going to be the key thing, isn't it? Is who's going to be your number 9 next season? You can have Isak and Etikite fighting it all the time for that jersey. They'll probably most likely get into Champions League football. Do you think that with the amount of players that they've already signed so much, wouldn't it be just counterproductive to add in another new manager into that mix in an already stressful situation? So maybe the Liverpool hierarchy are like, we'll just have to stick with it for another year until we get the squad.
I think he's gone, Ajay. I think he's gone.
Who do you bring in? Who do you bring in?
I don't care who they bring in.
Ten Hag.
Honestly, it's 10 Hag.
They wanted Amarin before they got Slot.
Oh my God,
they may have
Amarin. When Jurgen Klopp said he was leaving, it was Amarin that was the most touted. So maybe they can get him back in. Oh, there's plenty of ex-Chelsea managers on a big paycheck, so who are available? Mascherano? You never know.
Maresca got to Man City.
Sorry, Maresca, not Mascherano.
Alonso. Xabi Alonso can come back.
Yeah, he's the most natural.
He's the most natural, looks like, yeah.
Yeah, but again, I think if we look at it depends what he's learnt from his Real Madrid experience. Now, obviously, the egos at Liverpool aren't as high what we're assuming here, but the egos aren't as high as Real Madrid. So the management of the team is going to be very different. But I mean, as you said, Ajay, he spent a hell of a lot of money, and so you want him to go. And he's been a bit unlucky with Isak. They've chased him all summer, and he's hardly played. He came. He scored the last game, and then he was injured again today.
And then there was a rumor as well. Someone leaked that news, isn't it? Someone leaked that news as well. So
sorry?
Someone leaked that news to Sun that Isak is injured.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
He's gone. The dressing room. He's definitely gone then.
I'm telling you, he's gone. He's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. 100%.
Guys, trust me today. Trust me today. What I'm saying today is turning out to be true. I told you United gonna win the one. I told you Carrick signed the thing. He's gonna sign that thing.
Sign the thing.
And
Put the door noise. Put the
so
door
on
noise
is
on.
going.
Do it. Put the door noise on. Get it on.
All right. Okay, guys. Nice chatting to you. There is a
Fantastic.
very important game gonna start in half an hour. Aston Villa versus Spurs. Since West Ham lost,
Big game.
and
Big game.
can Spurs come back?
Well, it's back in their
17th?
hands now.
Back in their hands. But we know Villa like this tough away game for Spurs. Let's see what happens. I'll be watching.
I think Villa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Villa might win, to be fair, because they're going to be pissed off at the fact that they didn't beat Nottingham Forest in their semi-final.
But they need to win that. They need
be...
to win that to be sure, right? So
yeah, because they might not even get Champions
they
League.
might not
If
get
they
League.
lose,
Exactly.
yeah.
Exactly. So
So
I'm enjoying this season.
Liverpool, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah. They're behind Liverpool.
On
Yeah.
61.
Same points at the moment. 58, aren't they?
Yeah.
58 or something.
Yeah.
Liverpool 50. Yeah. Liverpool 58 as well. Both of them 58. So if they win, they'll be fourth. So there you go. The big chance to go top 4 again for Villa. So let's see. Okay, boys. That's it. Wonderful chat as always. We've been very happy this weekend. Match day 35 been brilliant for us. Let's hope it continues. And we'll see you guys soon. Till then, take care, stay safe. Please don't forget to like, subscribe our channel, and please comment us and let us know what do you think of tonight's game and yesterday's game. Can Arsenal win the title? Like Amit said, pendulum has swung towards Arsenal. Tell us in the comments. And thanks to SnapTag as well, our sponsors. Take care, guys. Bye for now.